Bitcoin had a flat top with an upsloping trend line. When you have a flat top and an upsloping, remember, this isn't flat top right here, then price tends to break out to the upside. 48,000 on the Bitcoin chart was actually my ultimate target. It's the 618 Fibonacci retrace. It's also a multiple trend line conversion right there, right? So again, right at this 48,000 level.
Since May, Bitcoin's most incredible winning streak propelled the token beyond $44,000, raising concerns about whether the crypto breakout increasingly reflects a belief that looser Federal Reserve monetary policy is on the way. Gareth Soloway, chief market strategist at InTheMoneyStocks.com and president of VerifiedInvesting.com, charts how far this recent rally can go. On Tuesday evening, December 5th, Bitcoin registered an additional 5% rally, with the Bitcoin price shooting past $44,300. On Wednesday morning, Bitcoin is trading above $43,600 with a market cap of $857 billion. Earlier, CoinGate reported in its Bitcoin price prediction that the price could reach as high as $48,257 if the support had sustained. Positive developments around the spot Bitcoin ETF applications could catalyze further resistance breaches. Gareth Soloway analyzed Bitcoin's potential price movements, highlighting the significance of the $48,000 level as a Fibonacci retracement and a multiple trendline convergence. Bitcoin overcame a drop in global stock markets to record another more than 19-month high, indicating the currency's independence from other assets. As of Wednesday, the global crypto market valuation is now $1.55 trillion, an 88.46% increase over a year ago. Bitcoin has a market cap of $857 billion as of recently, reflecting a 51.21% market dominance. Meanwhile, the market cap of stablecoins is $130 billion, accounting for 7.78% of the total crypto market cap. Furthermore, Soloway discussed Bitcoin dominance, explaining how it retraced to a previous high after breaking out, emphasizing the concept of a retrace to the scene of the crime. Let's turn to the video to delve into Soloway's comprehensive chart analysis. Before we get started, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon for the latest updates.
48,000 on the Bitcoin chart was actually my ultimate target. It's the 618 Fibonacci retrace. It's also a multiple trend line conversion right there, right? So again, right at this 48,000 level. Now, the reason why this is a concern, so I was talking about this 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, as a potential upside target on Bitcoin. The problem is, everywhere I look, people are now starting to talk about 48,000 as a target. I've seen 48 to 50,000. That's where it's going. That's what everyone is saying. The one thing I've learned in my 20 plus years of trading is that when everyone talks about a level, it often doesn't happen. So just be aware of that. It kind of basically puts me in a perspective of maybe being a little bit more skeptical that that level will be achieved. But again, bottom line, we have Bitcoin continuing to hold up. Right now, it is hovering just underneath 42,000. And again, if we zoom in on 42,000 here, you can clearly see that, again, we're just pulling back fractionally. Now, again, in terms of being overbought, Bitcoin is short-term overbought. But again, if it consolidates here for a little bit, it's still continuing to see the potential of that spot ETF approval. But I will say this, folks, the higher it goes, and this is something I've learned the hard way in my trading career, the higher it goes into news, the more likely it becomes a sell the news event. So wherever it is, when that news hits, you're going to get some sort of spike. The algorithms will automatically buy, individuals will pile in, but the question is, once that initial pop occurs, will it reverse to the downside? And the more we go higher on this, the more I anticipate that happening. So again, folks, just a warning there on what Bitcoin could do. All right, quickly just going into this chart, guys. This is a great chart of Bitcoin dominance. Now, the reason why I want to hover on Bitcoin dominance is because it's something I said recently. All right, when Bitcoin dominance was right into this level right here, I said, guys, alts are topping here, and we're going to see Bitcoin start to take the lead. Now, you might say, well, how did Gareth know that? Why did he think that? And the answer is very simple, and I can explain it in layman terms so that everyone can understand it. If we take a look at the chart, it's very clear what's happened here, right? So again, here's your Bitcoin dominance chart. Notice how we broke above, right? So here was your former pivot point right here. We broke up and then we retraced. Look at how it went right back to that previous high, right? So again, there's a tendency for charts, and I use this term all the time, called the scene of the crime, a retrace to the scene of the crime. You can actually apply it to Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance, here was sideways consolidation. It broke out. Where did it go? Right back to this former high. So what does that mean? Well, when Bitcoin dominance broke out above this high, where would you expect the retrace to come in? And the answer is back to the scene of the crime. Once it gets to the scene of the crime, it's essentially coming back home, it refuels, and it can go again on its merry way, and that's what you're seeing in Bitcoin dominance here. So again, little tidbits like this are game changers. And again, whether you're a trader in Bitcoin, an investor in Bitcoin, whether you like commodities, whether you like stocks, whether you trade Forex, these little tidbits, they work on every freaking chart. Literally, they work on every chart. So again, important little things to go over there on Bitcoin dominance.
According to Soloway, Russell continues to outperform, notably following a trajectory that aligns with the movement of risk on assets, such as Bitcoin. While the U.S. stock market mainly opened in the red Monday, crypto-tied equities proved the exception Monday morning. Analysts said that small caps may be a good place for traders considering other strategies to close out 2023. A run for U.S. small caps, which continued Monday after the Russell 2000 posted a 3% rally on Friday, may not be the most shocking narrative, but it could foreshadow what will come for the rest of the year. Soloway hints at a possible conclusion to the Russell's bullish surge, highlighting its nearing resistance, notably around the $19 level on the IWM. He also voices skepticism about the prevailing market optimism fueled by expectations of the Federal Reserve's actions, foreseeing a potential recession despite the Fed's active interest rate adjustments. Now, let's delve into the video.
The Russell is continuing to outperform. And this has been remarkable, guys, because again, if you look at the performance in Bitcoin, it's following the risk on asset of essentially the Russell. So again, think about this. You have Microsoft, you have Apple, you have Google, you have all these other big cap, mega cap, trillion-dollar companies. Those have actually been selling off. Those have been a store of safety. Those in the world of stocks, those mega caps are the equivalent of gold. It's a store of safety. When you see money rotating out of those mega caps, it means it's risk on, and we've seen the Russell, which is 2,000 companies, generally smaller companies, they've been just ripping to the upside. However, you are coming to the end of this run. So if we zoom out on this chart, in fact, I'm going to flip over to the weekly to show you guys a little bit more accurately here. Here's your weekly chart. And if we flip over to this, right, what do we have on in the midst of this, right? We have essentially a wedge pattern, or right here, and we're getting very close. So there is still a little bit more upside in the Russell, but you're starting to get close to resistance. I think it's around 189, so it's about $2 away on the IWM. Now, on the other side, the question I have is, we have a pivot low down here, which if we stretch to this, is now creating a secondary line. So again, do we hit here and check back down here? Or do we hit here and break out? Or do we hit here and then break down? And wedge patterns, again, when they're like this with two lines that are sloping up and down and meeting, right? Down and up sloping trend line, this is much more of a 50-50 play. What wasn't a 50-50 play, and I went into this in this game plan, is remember Bitcoin? Bitcoin had a flat top with an upsloping trend line. When you have a flat top and an upsloping, remember, this isn't flat top right here, then price tends to break out to the upside. Same thing for the downside. If you have a flat bottom and a trend line sloping down, what ends up usually happening? The flat bottom is the one that gets broken and you go to the downside. And when they're kind of both sloping, it's more of a 50-50, which makes sense, right? If this one's favoring the downside with the flat line on the bottom, this one's favoring the upside, flat time on the top. If both are angled, it's kind of evening itself out, and therefore it can be more of a 50-50. So we have to watch and see which way the Russell goes. I'm going to be honest, and you guys know this, I'm generally in the camp of skepticism, meaning that right now, the optimism in the markets is insanely high that the Fed is going to engineer some sort of a miraculous safe landing, even though they've raised interest rates at a velocity never before seen in history. And again, I'm just a doubter on this, and I think we will ultimately see a recession. The question is, how bad is it, and where is inflation? Because if inflation is still slightly elevated, let's say 3%, and by the way, we're right now still around 3.5% inflation. But if it's at 3% even, how much can the Fed really drop interest rates? I don't know. We'll find out.
Gains in crypto-related stocks have additionally extended. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and Marathon Digital gained for a third day, bringing their year-to-date gains to more than 300%. A surge in buying pressure above the present levels might help Bitcoin surpass the supply barrier, turning it into a bullish breakthrough. This move could pave the way for Bitcoin to aim for $50,000, marking a 10% rise from its current position. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you found this content informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for the latest updates. Thank you for being here with us.